It's time now for Countywide, a special presentation of Yavapai Broadcasting News. Join Paul David and Kyle Benedict as they talk with our community's leaders, newsmakers, and people in the know. You'll hear about the hot topics that affect all our lives in Yavapai County. And now here's today's Countywide.
Welcome to Countywide. I'm Paul David. Great to have you in studio with us today. Chief Steve Gazelle in studio again, Cottonwood Police Chief.
Good
Welcome
morning.
back.
Thank
We're going to continue our series on homelessness and panhandling.
Yes.
In the city of Cottonwood.
Very important.
And then Angie Lozano from Angie's House is in studio. Welcome to studio.
Thank you.
And we're going to talk about the dynamics of homelessness today. Is that our kind of our focus of?
That is our objective. What we've found, and again, I'm not an expert. I'm in the public safety arena. Obviously, that's why I'm dressed this way this morning. But the working with social service providers over the years, and the public, it's been clear to me from kind of a balcony seat as a police chief that there's a general misperception on the dynamics of homelessness, quite frankly, who comprises that demographic in the public. And the general consensus that we believe is the general public looks at this population as homogenous. They're all, the same. If they were offered a job, they'd be ready to take it and lead productive lives. And that's simply not the case. There's no group of human beings that are homogenous, and that applies here as well.
Okay, let's take a trip back to the last show you were here. You were launching the Safe Shopper program. I wanted to get an update from you on that. How's the Safe Shopper program working out?
Well, thanks for offering that opportunity, because this is connected to today's discussion. Because when I got here, the hue and cry from the public was, hey, our homeless situation is spinning out of control. And again, a lot of that, I believe, was tied into the number of panhandlers on the streets in Cottonwood, and there was a lot. So we launched several initiatives to focus on that, and one of them was the Safe Shopper program, which enabled us to partner with private businesses that did not want any solicitation on their property. And they post it, and then they essentially grant the police trespass authority. So if we see someone panhandling on their property or soliciting vacuums, any type of solicitation without the owner's express written consent. So we would contact them and advise them that behavior is not acceptable on this particular parcel of private property. And then if they came back, they would be subject to trespassing charges. Whereas someone that wants to panhandle can certainly do that in the public right of way, as long as they're not impeding traffic or impeding pedestrians on the sidewalk. There's still a constitutional right to free speech. So that program has been very successful in Cottonwood over the last couple months, and really dramatically reducing the number of individuals we had panhandling. But the most interesting piece out of that to me was the decoupling of the panhandling issue to a great extent in Cottonwood. So what we found as our officers got out and talked to people is that the vast majority of these individuals were not on shelter and they weren't homeless. Many of them were portraying themselves as homeless individuals
but they're not. I think that's really key to make a point about that. A lot of these folks are not homeless. This is what they're doing for a living. This is like their job.
And there are some that are, and our objective was officers to go out and find out if they need help, and we want to help connect them with social services like Angie's House, Catholic Charities, and other social service providers. Spectrum is another partner that we're working with. And if they're defrauding the public, then we're going to pay attention to that within the confines of certainly the law. But the important piece that we want to get out about that program, or about that experience rather, is these individuals that were out there panhandling, virtually, I'd say, I'm not even put a percentage on it, but a minute percentage of those individuals had any connectivity to social services in this area. And what I found is a lot of the public sentiment is when they see panhandlers on the street, many of them will connect them in their own minds, to the social service providers and say, hey, they're enabling these people and that's why they're here. And so some of that angst will be guided towards social service agencies, when in this case it's completely unwarranted, and the social service agencies are doing a phenomenal job in really helping individuals that want to transition out and that are committed to do so. And these individuals don't even fit that category. So the numbers dropped dramatically, and here we are.
Okay, all right. And then Angie's House.
Yes.
You play a role in this. So what is Angie's House role in this?
Well, we provide immediate housing, and it's immediate. We don't have waiting lists for people who are impacted by addiction, homelessness, or mental illness.
Okay.
So if someone needs a place to stay, whether, for instance, like an addiction, individuals don't have an addiction. The addiction actually has the individual. So what they do is they come into our home immediately. That's an immediate placement. They come in. We get them on the 12-step program. We connect them with social services, such as Catholic Charities for case management, and with Spectrum for counseling. Get them back up on their feet, get them out there working, and self-sufficient. And the program does work. Same with mental illness. We provide supportive housing. So someone who is impacted by mental illness can come to us. We give them just enough support that helps them to do the normal day-to-day things. If they're not employed, let's say they're on disability or Social Security income, we get them connected with like volunteer services. We get them involved in classes, get them involved in counseling, because there are some dual diagnosis type classes at Spectrum. And then for homeless, we do have a homeless shelter as well. And people who just really, truly just need a place to stay at night, we do have a place for that. But what we do is the individuals who are ready to get out of homelessness can come into our supportive housing and get back up on their feet, go get the job, get the counseling, get the support that they need. And I've seen a lot of drastic change with people.
You had a good story. Why don't you tell that story real quick about a success story, because it is possible out there.
It is really possible. Okay. Yeah. I had a gentleman that I would see every single day for a year, and he'd wave, and we'd make small talk. Sometimes I would see him highly intoxicated, sometimes not. And every time I'd see him, I'd offer and say, "Do you want to come live with us? We can get you sober, get you back out there living." And he'd say, "No, Angie, I'm not ready. I'm not ready yet." So every time I'd see him, and after a year went by, I didn't see him for a day. And I thought, okay, well, maybe he just hadn't made it to Circle K that day. And then another 3 days went by, I hadn't seen him. And then a whole week went by, and then I started to get worried that maybe he had succumbed to the addiction. 2 days later, I get a phone call. He's in the hospital, and he says, "Angie, does the offer still stand that I can come stay with you?" I said, "Sure." So he moved in with us. He was with us 8 months. He got clean, got sober, got a job as a greeter at Walmart, the first job he had had in 5 years. He reconnected with his family that he hadn't talked to in almost 10. And now he is currently, after 5 years, living in Mesa, still working as a greeter at Walmart.
Do we know what that's a great story. Do we know what brought him to the point where he was intoxicated every day?
He was an actual person that was working up until about 5 years. His wife had passed away, and that's what the depression.
That was the spiral.
That was a spiral.
Okay. I imagine everybody that comes to sees you has a different story.
They do. They do have different stories, and everyone's different, and that's why we're non-judgmental. We open our doors and say, "Hey, if you want help, we're here to help."
Yeah. What is your main goal at Angie's House?
To get them back out there so they can live the life they've always dreamed of.
Be productive.
And that they deserve, and be productive. And I want them to be self-sufficient. I want them to be able to get up and get a job, pay their bills, do the things that we take for granted every day. Being able to be self-sufficient, self-supporting, and proud. Because that's the one thing. The one thing is they feel like they're ignored, and they're an ignored part of the community. And they're not. They're our neighbors. They're just unsheltered at the moment. And then once they get back up on their feet,
Okay, we have to take our first break. Cottonwood Police Chief Steve Gazelle in studio today, along with Angie Lozano of Angie's House. Her number is 301-2169. Website is angieshouseaz.com. This is Countywide. We'll be back in just a couple minutes.
Hey, look, it's those guys. Are you good to drive?
I'm fine.
How many did you have?
I should be fine.
You should be.
You willing to step out of the vehicle for me?
See ya, buddy. Good luck. So turns out, buzz driving and drunk driving, they're the same thing, and it costs around $10,000. So not worth it.
I'm Jenny Garth, and as a mother of 3, I know kids worry about a lot of things. Getting enough food to eat shouldn't be one of them. But here in America, that is a real worry for 1 in 5 children. This is unacceptable and something Feeding America is working to solve. Through a nationwide network of food banks, Feeding America serves virtually every community in the United States, including yours. See how you can help your community. Visit feedingamerica.org. Together, we can solve hunger. Together, we're Feeding America.
Chipmunks want to remind you, bacteria can hide in food and make you ill.
Wow.
But you can keep bacteria from ruining your day with 4 simple steps. Clean.
I'm waiting for the rinse cycle.
Separate. Cook.
Fire in the hole!
And chill.
We chipmunks are notoriously tidy.
Check your steps. The road trip to food safety starts at foodsafety.gov.
Welcome back to Countywide. We're talking about the dynamics of homelessness in the Cottonwood area. Cottonwood Police Chief Steve Gazelle in studio. 634-4246 is the number for the Cottonwood Police Station. And then Angie Lozano of Angie's House, 301-2169. And then there's angieshouseaz.com. When does the police at Angie's House kind of intersect? When does that happen?
Well, one of our future segments in this series we'll be talking about our alternative sentencing program, which is fledgling, but it's already had some early successes that we're very, very happy and very proud of. It's only been up and running for about 6 weeks. So to use one of our success stories as an example, one of the first individuals we identified, and I don't want to go too much into that program because I want to save material for your next show.
Okay.
But to answer your question, this particular individual was creating disturbances day in and day out, getting police interface through public calling us and saying, "Hey, do something about this," which is generally how it happens. Mm-hmm. And individuals that certainly that are ready. I mean, that's the big challenge for any of us when we're dealing with this population, is getting people to the point where they are ready. So in that case, we would, through that alternative sentencing program, we would provide choices through the judicial process, which I can go into in detail in our next show, but that's ultimately how Angie and I and the police department have grown closer in our relationship. She offers a very finite resource, and that's shelter and housing, and she can go into certainly more on how critical that is from a public safety standpoint. We can't certainly help reduce the calls for service involving any one individual or number of individuals if those individuals don't get housed.
So rock bottom folks, we're kind of talking about these folks that are just they have reached the bottom and they're like, somebody's got to help us. We're ready for the help.
And they're ready. Uh-huh.
They're ready. Is kind of the folks you see coming through the door?
Yeah. And shelter is a basic human need. Mm-hmm. I mean, it literally is a basic human need. So once that's met, once they're safe, they're secure, then they can start to take care of other things, like doing this 12-step program, thinking about doing something different for the week. But the main thing is shelter.
Let me ask you this. If I come through your door and I have mental illness, I have a mental illness and I've been living on the streets for a couple of years, what are the steps that I'm going to be going through with you when I come through your door? How's the process work?
Yeah, well, first of all, you'll come in, you feel like part of the family. You feel like you belong, you feel wanted, you feel cared for. That'll take a few days. And then we'll connect you with Spectrum Healthcare and to possibly do some counseling and some case management there. Make sure that the medication is correct, to find out what diagnosis they have, things like that. Mm-hmm. And then we also want to make their lives fun and exciting. So what we do is we hook them up with some different volunteer services, as well as there's some wraparound services at Spectrum where they can do fun things like karaoke, they can do garden group, they can do rec group. So what happens is once they come to us, they can actually start to fill their entire week with positive things that actually help them start to grow. And then once they're on medication, it's amazing. It's just amazing how they just blossom. And one person come in, let's say on Monday, they're a different person by the end of the week, literally. First of all, by housing, but then by connecting them with different resources, and then the camaraderie at the house. Being around human beings, I mean, the other fellow human beings is a big deal.
I suppose everybody helps everybody else out.
Yes, they do, and they've all been there, and so they know. And so as soon as someone comes in, they help them out with food, or they help them out with a razor. We do have a commodity cabinet, so when they come in, they do have food, soups, and different things like that. But yeah, it's amazing. Everyone really wants to help each other because they've been there.
How many folks come in to see you?
Well,
how many folks do you have there?
Yeah, well, currently we have two men's homes. Our capacity is 15 in each home. We're about at 10 in each right now. Yeah, but we have been up to 15, and it's amazing when someone comes in and they have to share a room. They're like, hey, no problem. Like I said, they just want to help each other because they've been there, and they know what it's like not to have a place to lay your head at night, not to have a place to take a shower, prepare a meal, make a phone call. Yeah.
Is Angie's House something I could take advantage of?
Yeah, anyone can take advantage of.
No, I mean take advantage of in a bad way. I just need a place to stay for the night, so I'm going to come in.
No, because we have structure.
Okay.
We have structure, and there's things that we expect you to do. We expect you to do the 12-step program. We expect you to stay clean and sober. If in fact you do relapse, it's not that something that we would force you out, but we would take the necessary steps to get you more counseling, get you more services, things like that. So no, there are things that you have to do to stay in our program.
Angie doesn't give up too fast?
I don't give up. No, I really don't, because I see too many successes, and so I know that if I just provide the support, they can do it. They can do it. But we do require them to work at it. And once they see that if they just put a little bit of effort, they can accomplish it. All you need to do for an accomplishment is do the try. And they do. They try, and it happens.
It's going to be difficult, though, sometimes for them, I would imagine. Right?
It's difficult because it's different. Human beings are creatures of habit. So what they've been doing for the last 2 months, it's going to take some time to break down the routine and the habit. But we have them on a schedule, so they get put on a schedule that then starts to become routine. So that helps them out as well.
No, you can't do this by yourself.
No, I have house managers that live on site.
Okay.
That live on site with them, and they're there 24/7. And so, yeah, they have that support as well.
Okay.
Paul, I think you touched on a critical issue that the public would benefit from knowing more about, and that's, there's differences in philosophy in different social service providers. There are certainly some that lack that structure that Angie's House has in place, and those would be conceivably more enabling, which many times makes the problem worse, from my personal opinion, both individually and from a public safety quality of life perspective. That case management, that structure, my experience has been when I've seen organizations that have that in place and they follow it, their successes are numerous. There are certainly social service agencies out there that are kind of mired in their own politics, if you will, and they ultimately have short-lived or far fewer successes because they offer an enabling environment. And certainly there's a vast difference. So anyone that wants to give to a social service agency, I think they should know what they're supporting. Ask those kind of questions of those social service agencies. What type of case management do you have, if that's important to them? Because obviously it's a free country. But if that is important, that would be something that we would encourage, is find out exactly how that social service agency helps people gain that self-sufficiency that Angie's House does.
Yeah, because we simply don't just house them. We have them on a program and we help them we hold them accountable. But that's real life. And in order for them to survive out there, once they leave us, they're going to have to be accountable. They're going to learn they're going to have to learn those skills to be independent and self-sufficient.
Good point. Let's take our next break. Angie Lozano of Angie's House in studio today, along with Cottonwood Police Chief Steve Gazelle. Her number 301-2169, angieshouseaz.com. This is Countywide. We'll be back in just a couple minutes.
Your home, it's your dream. Radon testing, keep it healthy and clean. Make it green, green, green. Making it green is making sure the air in your home is healthy for your family to breathe. Make sure you test your home for the presence of radon. It's easy. To learn more, call 866-730-GREEN. Preserve your family's health and well-being. Get your home tested. Now that's living healthy and green. Green, green, green. It's your home, it's your dream. Radon testing, keep it healthy and clean. Make it green, green, green. To learn more, call 866-730-GREEN.
They said I have troll teeth.
That my voice sounded like a possessed baby doll.
That no one would ever love someone as stupid as me.
That I was fat, ugly.
Disgusting.
The effect of bullying is potent.
We will no longer be the silent majority.
Now, when you see online bullying, there's something you can do about it.
We're gonna take action with the I.
I am a witness.
I am a witness.
I am a witness.
I am a witness.
I am a witness, and so are you.
Welcome back to Countywide. We've got just a couple minutes left in the program. I want to find out how Angie's House is funded.
Yes, for a long time we were self-funded. It was the program fees that self-supporting for the house.
Mm-hmm.
We are a nonprofit, so we take donations and we can further our services to our residents.
What kind of donations do you need other than financial? I mean, is it food, clothing? I mean, what kind of donations are we talking about?
Believe it or not, socks. Socks are a real big need. New socks.
We were talking about that before the show. Just how nice a fresh pair of socks feels.
Feel.
Yeah.
And just regular household items that used. I mean, we don't want new twin-size bed sheets, kitchen towels, bath towels, toiletries, soaps, things like that.
Do you see Angie's House expanding?
I do.
More?
Yeah, because in 2000 we started with 2 homes, and now we're 10.
Mm-hmm.
So it just, as the need increases, we will open up another home and provide a service.
You've got 10 homes.
We do have 10 homes.
And are they all over Yavapai County? We haven't
all over
talked
in
about
Cottonwood.
that.
Yeah, all over in Cottonwood.
All over in Cottonwood.
Just Cottonwood.
Okay.
Yeah, just
all
Cottonwood.
Right.
But they're all centrally located within walking distance to all services, bus stops, library, stores.
Okay.
Yeah, which makes it nice and easy.
Now, if I'm in Prescott and I need help,
give me a call. You can come on over and we can get you housed.
Do you go out and transport back and forth?
We do. We do have a van that we can go pick you up if needed. In fact, we did that a couple of times in Flagstaff as well as Sedona. Middle of the night, it was raining, picked somebody up and brought them in.
Who contacts you?
Social service-wise, or individuals, or everyone.
Everyone. Okay.
Sometimes they'll just call just for information. So definitely give me a call, because if I can't help you, I know someone who can.
All right, really good. I think we're done. Cottonwood Police Chief Steve Gazelle, thanks for coming in again. Good to see you. We're going to see you again next week.
Sounds good.
We'll follow up again. And then Angie Lozano of Angie's House, thank you so much for coming in. It was good meeting you. Her number again, 301-2169, and the website is angieshouseaz.com. That's today's Countywide, and we'll talk to you again next time.